What's up YouTube, I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, compare games from tabletop to video games. And today we are reviewing my 6 Samurai deck profile. Now if you haven't seen the previous video of the 6 Samurai combo tutorial, or if you want to rush into the combos, you can go and watch my 6 Samurai short video. Now with that being said, let's get started. And here is the 6 Samurai deck profile, with the main deck containing 40 cards with 23 monsters, 14 spells, and 3 traps, and the extra deck with 15 monsters. Now for the main deck, starting with the monsters, we have the 3 Grand Masters, which is an amazing card just to spam the most. And if you've seen the other combos that I posted on the channel, you're going to see how much we abuse this card. So that's why a lot of people stop playing even 1 or 2, but they're not using it right. So you want to really spam, and you want to guarantee to at least draw one of these guys. To have Grandmaster as your starting hand is amazing. And his effects is, you could definitely supposed to summon him if you control a 6 Samurai monster, but you can only control one Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai. And his second effect that a lot of people forget about is, if he would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect in your possession, so it doesn't matter if it's field, hand, deck, whatever, you can target one 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard and add that target to your hand, so you can even bring him back. Next, we have 3 Kazans. Now this card is amazing, level 4 6 Samurai monster that you can special summon as well, like Grandmaster. The only thing is that you could literally special summon him as much as you want, but you have to at least control another 6 Samurai monster besides him. And he has that extra attack boost. If you control 2 or more other 6 Samurai monsters, gain 300 attack and defense. Then we have the 1 Legendary Secrets of the 6 Samurai, which is a free special summon if you're summoning any of your secret 6 Samurai monsters. Then we have the 2 Secret 6 Samurai Hatsume, which you've seen in the combo is really good. Even as an opener, it is still pretty good to get free special summons as well, but it has a second effect as well. If exactly one 6 Samurai monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you could banish this card from the graveyard instead. Then we have the legendary 6 Samurai Kageki. Now this you could even cut and play only 2. I'm not too crazy about this card, but you know what, at least 3 or 2 is good. I won't really necessarily per 1, but just as a free summon, it's amazing. And especially if you have Kageki and Kazan, and you summon Kageki and you use the effect and your opponent races Effect Veiler or even Imperm on him, it's even better, because then you're just going to special summon the Kazan right after. Now for a hand trap, we have 3 Ash Blossoms. Then we have the Kagemusha. So we're playing 2 Kagemushas because for ISO you definitely want to special summon 1 from the deck. Now I know you could special summon from your hand, it is possible as well, but preferably you rather always special summon this card from your deck. And it also has the effect that if exactly one 6 Samurai monster is targeted by spell, trap, or monster effect, you can change the target to this card. So if you are summoning and using the effect of Battle Shogun and they go Imperm or Veiler or something like that, you could definitely select the target to him instead. Then we have Xian Squire, which is the main tuner that we spam the most and just keep on special summoning from the graveyard. Now this card is definitely amazing. It's a level 1 tuner, and it has a hand trap effect also. If a 6 Samurai monster you control during the damage calculation, so it's even better. It's not damage step, it's damage calculation. So there's not many cards that could chain to it except usually counter traps. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, you can send it to the graveyard so that 6 Samurai monster cannot be destroyed by battle for the rest of the turn. Then we have our 2 Secret Samurai Fumas. Now, good, another level 1 tuner that we have in this deck, and this is good. And the reason why we have that in Xian Squire is because in case if we have to push for extra counters, this is a good monster that we could definitely normal summon or special summon and then start like synchroning with as well. Now his effect is if he's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1/6 samurai monster from your deck. And I have used this effect many times just to get extra counters. If I'm going into main phase 1 and my hand isn't that good, I crash into my opponent's monster, get his effect, special summon 6 samurai, and then combo off. Very good. And then he has the second effect, the same as Hatsume. If one of your 6 samurai monster will be destroyed, banish it instead. Next, we have the 3 Fire Lint Ladies. Now, this is definitely, back then it was playing more junk forward that you would play. Now, it's switched out for Fire Flint Lady because it's definitely better than junk forward. Because if you control a warrior, you special summon it. It's better than drawing into a junk forward and you already have monsters on the field or later like combo off. It's just a free special summon that you could do. And it has the second effect, you contribute it to special summon at level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand. So Sheehan Squire we always want in the deck or the graveyard, but if it's in your hand, this is definitely a card that could bring out to the field. So then when you synchro summon using Sheehan Squire, it's now in the graveyard and then you can continue coming. Then we have Reinforcement of the Army, which is definitely mandatory because it gets the Kazan and it gets the ball rolling, or Fire Flint Lady as well it could get. We're not playing Smoke Signal, and I know a few of you are going to comment and say like, why are you not playing Smoke Signal? It's because if you actually look at the combos that I actually showed and all that, you're not really doing that much with the level 3. Like the only level 3 you will want technically in your hand is Kageki, and this is the card I said that you could play 2 of. So you don't really need to start. If it was able to actually search a level 4 like the Kazan, then yes, I would actually play 3 Smoke Signals into the deck. Then we have Called by the Grave. Technically good for like hand traps. It's definitely a really good card that you always have to play, and that most decks should play 1 at all times. Then we have Gateway of the Six, which I am so sad that it's not at 3. And I remember back then when this card was at 3, it was insane. Maybe one day it would be at 3, but yes, we have only 1. And this card is amazing. The first effect, it gets 2 counters every time a 6 samurai monster is summoned. Then you can remove counters and you have an ability depending on how many counters that you remove. If you remove 2 counters, target a 6 samurai or a Sheehan effect monster, target gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. If you remove 4 counters, you can add a 6 samurai monster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. And if you remove 6 counters, target a Sheehan effect monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. Really good. Then we have 3 Sheehan Dojos, and I know you guys are looking at this list and be like, wow, you're playing a lot of continuous spells. Well, if you've seen the combo, you always want at least 1 card that you can play Sheehan counters on it, Bushido counters on, because this is your best starting hand is if you have only 1 of them in your hand, and then you can combo off and then you could get more later on. Now the Sheehan Dojo is definitely one of the best ones because this is the one that it becomes irrelevant if your opponent Nibiru's you, because you could just use Sheehan Dojo's effect to tribute himself and special summon a 6 samurai or Sheehan up to the amount of counters it has with the level. So he gains counters for every time you summon a 6 samurai monster, plus you can special summon a 6 samurai or Sheehan from your deck, and this is how we usually get our Sheehan Squire from. Then we have 6 Samurai United. I'm not too crazy about this one because 1, it has that limit of 2. I would prefer if it didn't have a max limit, but it did say that you could draw 2 cards by sending it to the graveyard instead. If it had that effect, I would actually prefer it. Like if they actually like errata it or change it a bit, that would have been a lot better. But their max limit of having 2 actually does hurt and make it harder to do your combo. It's still manageable and you still could do your combos, but it's a lot difficult when you're starting with United instead of the other ones. Then we have our 3 different equipped spells. So we have the DDR, which is very possible to have a monster removed from the graveyard. You've seen it with Phoenix Blade or Hatsume as well. So we could definitely use this card, actually use this card. Then we have the Phoenix Blade that, well,
For obvious reason, by sending it with ISO, we could use the effect add to the hand, and then for any cost effects involving with hands, we could use that. Then we have Living Fossil. That's pretty much a free monster reborn, and it's another target to send us costs for ISO. Then we have 2 Temple of the Six. Now sadly we are playing 2, and it's only because of one thing. It is a field spell, so you can only have play one field spell. So that's why it's not really good to play 3, because then you're just stuck with it. But at the same time, you do want to start with it, so it's like, how many would you actually play? Technically, you could play with only 1 and maybe 1 terraforming. That is possible. But that's why with this Temple of the Six, it's just a shame that it is a field spell. If it was a continuous, I would actually play 3 of these, and then I would cut the United for 2 instead. And now for the traps, we have the 3 imperms. So for the hand traps, as you can see, we have the Ash Blossoms, we have the 3 imperms. Called by the Grave, you could consider it as a hand trap if you want. But for other hand traps, it's not really necessary, because 1, this is a really go starting first deck, and Nibiru, this deck definitely plays around Nibiru when your opponent uses Nibiru on you. Not necessary you using Nibiru though. Like, it's doable. You could find room, I guess, if you really want to play those. The hand traps I'm most comfortable with this deck is definitely these hand traps. Now we have the extra deck. So we have our 3 Xians, obviously, for the combo. Then we have the Naturi Beast, and we have Herald of the Arc Light. Now, the best thing about it, if you've seen the combo, you've seen that there's a rotation what you do. Now, you could choose of summoning the 2 Xians, 1 Herald Arclight, and 1 Naturi Beast, and then your Appaloosa. Or if you want, you could choose 3 Xians, Herald Arclight, and Appaloosa, or 2 Xians, 3 Xians, Naturi Beast, and Appaloosa. So you definitely could play. Or you know what, if you didn't want to make Appaloosa, yes, you could also make 3 Xians, Herald, and Naturi Beast, and one of them would just be in the extra monster zone on the summoning, but is durable as well. Now, Xian definitely love. If you're not familiar with them, once per turn when your opponent activates spell trap, quick effect, negate the activation, and if you do destroy, his second effect, which a lot of people forget about, is if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy another 6 samurai monster you control instead, which is definitely helpful. Herald, free negation, and also any monsters from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banned instead. That's why I tried to summon this guy as the last synchro monster to actually summon, or I tried the most. Then Naturi Beast negates spell cards by discarding the top 2 card of your deck. Now, usually when you do the combos, you usually have 17 cards in the deck left, and that's minimum. I never got lower than 17. Usually a lot of times I've seen like 19 or 20, but 17 has been the most common lowest I have ever got. So it's usually the minimum would be 17 cards left in the deck, which is still a lot of negates to do. Then for Link Monster, we have Saruja. Now, it's not necessary to always use Saruja for the draw power, but it also depends what you open with. If you open with 2 cards that have to do with Bushido counters, technically you don't need Saruja and you could combo off just like that. But you know what? It's still good to have 1. Then we have Darkness Metal Dragon. Now, a lot of you guys are wondering, like, why are we playing with Darkness Metal Dragon? And this is actually has to go with the Luster, if I click on it, with Black Luster Soldier. Now, Black Luster Soldier is an Earth Warrior monster. So if you are stuck in a situation and then you have to use your Saruja or any of your other monsters to make an Earth Warrior monster, this is how you could do it. And then with Darkness Metal, my clicking is not really working. Oh, sorry guys about that. Yeah. So if you're making Darkness Metal, you can choose one of your either Grandmaster or Kizan and then Blacklisted Soldier to make Darkness Metal very easy. And he's rank 4, so it works. And what it does is it just gives you a free special summon from the graveyard, but you are sticking with only synchro monsters. Now, Banish or Graveyard actually that special summons from. Now this is really good because if you go to this point, then that means that you're just sticking with synchro monsters, so you can actually just continue and doing all your plays. And there's actually a few times that I done this that I was stuck, that I made Appaloosa first and then I had to make Darkness Metal and then I was able to make Link monsters. Okay, it was a weird board, but it depends how many interruptions, and it's just a really good out to have. Then we have Appaloosa. If you've seen the combo, you definitely seen that it's very easy to make Appaloosa. We have 2 ISOs, which is definitely mandatory, because in case if one gets negated in perm as soon as you use the search effect and you don't get it, well, you can make another one and then use the second one, so it's definitely mandatory to play 2. We have Needle Fiber, and the reason why we're playing this is because, well, obviously we do have a lot of tuners to supposed to summon with, but also in very tight situation, this card could actually help you many times. It helped me many times to use supposed to summon and get tuner out to get even more counters, so it's a very good card in this deck to play one of. Then we have the Battle Shogun, which definitely made the deck. You would not be able to do these combos if this card was not out yet. So this card definitely changed the whole deck by having a search effect for any Bushido card, so you will have more Bushido coming up. Plus, you gain Bushido counters every time a 6 Samurai is pointed to a zone he points to. And he has also an attack boost as well, that he gains 100 for every counter you have on the field. So it's really good, and it is actually possible to OTK with this card too.
That's it for my 6 Samurai deck profile. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to watch the next video. If you guys want to see other decks, or you have an idea of a deck that you want to see on this channel, comment it down below. And if you guys want to see other products reviewed on this channel and you want a sneak peek, you can follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.